Sylvie of the multiple award-winning The Queen Sylvie Show. You want to expand and get noticed? Then come outside your box and into our world. Internet advertising has a real impact on global awareness and even sales, so let's make an impact together. Offering for a limited time advertising and sponsorship packages that excel your purpose. So contact Queen Sylvie or Smooth Tim for the exciting opportunities that awaits. Yeah.
Are you tired of driving around a dirty car? Say hello to the ultimate solution for your car. Quick Auto Detail, home, work, or wherever. Their mobile car spa will clean and shine your car anytime and anywhere. Their products are gentle on your car's paint, and they use only the highest quality materials. Book your appointment now.
Hey kids, how would you like to hear this on the screen instead of the great show you came to see? That's what you sound like. Honest. Please cooperate and do your part in keeping this theater quiet so everyone, including you, can enjoy it. Now remember, lots of adults and kids, too, paid admission to enjoy the show. We must insist on absolute quiet.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's rock.
Hey, what is happening? It is Smooth Tim, and thank you so very much for dropping by and spending another hump day with me on Tim's Tidbits. And hey, it is the Wednesday after Thanksgiving. I hope you guys all had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend, got bellies full, safe travels back and forth. And, hey, up north here, it is chilly. Yeah, we're getting some Arctic wind, Arctic blast, what do they call it, a Alberta clipper, and coming across the lakes, making it a little bit chilly here. But, here in the, just outside Detroit, Toledo area, yet it wasn't too bad, but you get a little bit towards Cleveland, Erie, Pennsylvania, Buffalo, they got 5 feet of snow, 5 feet of snow. I wouldn't know how to deal with 5. It's just I'm snowed in for a minute, people. I ain't gonna get out there and shovel no 5 damn feet of snow. That's crazy. But anyhow, otherwise, there's still all kinds of things going on around the world, here and there, globally. But hey, we will get past all this, as the Queen and I like to say on all our shows. Practice faith over fear, people. And we will get past all of this. There's always a brighter day ahead. Silver cloud, there is silver lining in every cloud, isn't that what they say? Anyhow, let me shout out last week's listeners from Australia, France, Ireland, Africa, Poland, the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Mexico, and Germany. Thank you, folks, for tuning on in. Certainly appreciate it. Anyhow, here in the good old U.S. of A., we are getting ready to transition into a new cabinet with the new presidency and Trump's team coming in, and he's got some appointees that are controversial, to say the least. Let's call it controversial. So, it's time to, this part of the show, grab your popcorn and see what's happening, especially when it comes to the cabinet choices that Trump has put before Congress, and we'll see if they indeed get confirmed. But here's another sneak peek of what's going on.
President-elect Trump making another controversial choice for his second administration, selecting Kash Patel for FBI director.
He's got a sketchy commitment to using his authority to pursue what he regards as political enemies, and that includes folks who write bad articles about him in the press, politicians who disagree with the president.
I've known him for a long time. Just stay tuned.
Senators also meeting with Trump's pick for Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth.
Appreciate the opportunity to talk to senators today.
He's come under fire for a number of issues, ranging from sexual assault allegations, which he denied and was not charged for, although authorities did not say why he was not charged, to a new article by The New Yorker citing a 2015 report written by former employees of a veterans organization Hegseth ran. It alleged he was repeatedly intoxicated to the point of needing to be carried out of the organization's event. The Trump transition team is standing by the pick, and some lawmakers are too.
We need somebody to straighten the military out, to get the woke, the DEI affiliation out, and go from there.
Pam Bondi, Mr. Trump's nominee for U.S. Attorney General, also making the rounds on Capitol Hill Monday.
I congratulate you, and I hope that you feel the honor that you should feel for having this nomination from President Trump.
Should I earn the trust and the nomination from all of the senators, I will do my best every day to work tirelessly for the American people.
President-elect Trump's picks making their case to be confirmed. And President-elect Trump is seeking to force out the current FBI director, Christopher Wray, who Trump tapped to lead the agency back in 2017. Wray has 3 years left on his 10-year term. The FBI reacted in a statement saying Director Wray's focus remains on the men and women of the FBI.
So it should be an interesting transition. Yeah, that's kind of controversial. The one guy wants to go after everybody, so that would be Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert, and you guys better watch out. They're gonna be coming after you. Anyhow, yeah. So there you go, folks. Ramaswamy and Elon Musk are, looking at the government efficiency group, and they're the ones that are going to go in there and making some cuts. You got Dr. Oz. It's going to hit up Medicare. Wow, who do we got? Kennedy, and he's going to take care of some healthcare issues too. So it should be real interesting that if he pushes all these people through the confirmation process, and or maybe he can get around it somehow. Who knows? But in any regards, hey, there it is, folks. Also, during the election, or actually right afterwards the election, and some people were making the claim that the only states that Kamala Harris won was states that did not require voter ID. And any state that required voter ID, some type of driver's license, proof of residency, whatever that particular requirement might be, Trump won them all. So anyhow, I decided, well, let's find out. I see this crap on social media, and I'm sure you do too. So let's just get in and fact check. Did indeed Kamala only wins the states that don't require voter ID.
This year marked the first time the state required North Carolinians to present a photo ID to vote in the presidential election.
Now, some people are saying on social media that voter ID requirements played a major role in Donald Trump beating Kamala Harris. Paul Spade checks that claim for PolitiFact.
Did Kamala Harris lose in every state that requires voter ID? Well, that's what some people are saying on social media. Take a look.
You won't believe this. Kamala lost every state that requires voter ID. Kamala won every state that does not require voter ID.
Is that right? Was the Electoral College split by states that do and don't require voter ID? No, actually, first let's look at the states that either request or require that voters present a photo ID to vote. That includes North Carolina. And you can see Trump did win most of them, but not all of them. Harris won Rhode Island up there, where people have to use a provisional ballot to vote if they don't bring a photo ID. Election officials then determine whether that voter is eligible using a signature matching system. Voter ID laws are different in every state. More than a dozen states require voters to present an ID, but they don't necessarily require a photo. You can see in those states, Both candidates had success, actually. Now, what about those states that don't require any ID? Well, Harris did win most of those, but Trump won a couple states too, and they were big, Nevada and Pennsylvania. So clearly, the notion that voter ID laws somehow determine the outcome of the election are not reflected in these results. And that's why the Truth Meter rates those claims false. Read our full fact check at WREL.com.
There we go. So yeah, fact check that stuff. I got friends that get mad at me because I'll fact check something. You know, when you hear something that's on the internet or you read something that's coming across, one of these social media programs, and it smells like bullshit. Well, fact check it. Yeah, because sometimes if it sounds too good to be true or sounds just too horrible, fact check that. It's like, where is this coming from? And is there any truth behind half of that? And well, there you are, folks. No, that is a lie. Anyhow, good old Bernie was up there just the other day talking, and I liked his little speech, so I'm going to play it for you. And Bernie got up there and gave a real good explanation why. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat, Republican, black, white, Oriental. It does not matter. You're pissed off. And what are you pissed off about? Well, Bernie's going to explain it to you, and he's pretty much hitting the nail on the head.
Here is the startling reality that almost nobody talks about. You talk about why people are angry out there, all right? They have a reason to be angry. And the reason is that right now, real inflation accounted for wages, real dollars, over the last 50 years. Today, that average American worker is earning less than he or she did 50 years ago. So what happened? How did that happen? Well, I'll tell you what happened. It was a study done by the Rand Corporation, kind of conservative think tank. And what they looked at in terms of income and wealth inequality is that over that same 50-year period, there has been a $50 trillion transfer of wealth from the bottom 90% to the top 1%. Now, 50 trillion is an unfathomable number. What the hell does that mean? It's beyond anyone's comprehension. But the bottom line is that what's happened is over the last 50 years, as workers have become more productive, producing more, they have not benefited from it. Almost all of that increase in wealth has gone to the people on top. So the reality of the economy today is that for the people on top, for the 1%, they have never, ever had it so good in American history. Top 1% never had it so good. Making money hand over fist. And it's not only income and wealth inequality. It's not only that 3 people, if you can believe this, own more wealth than the bottom half of American society. What do you think about that? Is that what America's supposed to be?
Nope. You're exactly right, Bernie. No, that is not what America's supposed to be. That's that $50 trillion in transition in 50 years. $50 trillion in transition in 50 years from the lower to the lower middle class to the top 1%. And wonder why your paychecks are dwindling and why you can't afford to buy shit. Well, there you go. It's because somebody on top is making some mega bucks. And hard to believe, your wages don't really represent anything compared to what your parents might have been making 50 years ago when they was bringing home money. Their dollar went a lot further. Anyhow, hey, let's keep on going a little bit. Let's go around the world. We know there's still stuff going on in Ukraine, right? There's that ceasefire, supposed ceasefire that's going on. As long as Hamas, I believe, Hamas sticks by it. We'll see what happens because I think if, it sparks off again, what do they call that? The Free State of Palestine, that's not going to happen. I can see Netanyahu just saying, let's just take the whole damn thing. And I know that I did see on the news that, before he takes presidency, Trump would like to see all American hostages released, or the Hamas will suffer the wrath of from the U.S. like has never been seen before. Yeah, apparently he put that on Truth Social, so keep up with what's going on there. But in any regards, let's go just a little bit further over into the Middle East and see what the hell is happening in Syria. Because another time, we say keep your eye on what's going on with North Korea, South Korea, over in Taiwan. And here's another one we need to be cognizant of because who knows where it could go.
The rebel group that launched a surprise offensive into Aleppo, Syria over the weekend is now moving south toward the city of Hama. This offensive is led by a group, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or what's known as HT, who was once affiliated with al-Qaeda, is still considered a terrorist organization by the United States and is one of many groups that oppose the current regime of President Bashir al-Assad. Assad and his forces have been in a civil war for 13 years, and during that time, he has enjoyed support from Russia, from Iran, and from Hezbollah, all of whom lately have been occupied by other wars. This group seems to have taken advantage of those distractions to launch this offensive into northwestern Syria. Now, the question right now here is, what impact does this have on U.S. forces, the 900 troops that are in Syria? The U.S. forces are there officially as part of the Defeat ISIS mission, and so the Pentagon recently has said that the offensive in northwestern Syria is, quote, completely unrelated to what the U.S. is doing in Syria. But the fact is that in Syria, with all the players involved, it's all kind of related, even if it's complicated. The concern over the long run is that depending on what this offensive in northwestern Syria, where it goes and how far, could impact the forces in northeastern Syria the U.S. partners with to defeat ISIS. The Syrian Democratic Forces in northeastern Syria have largely taken on the responsibility of protecting, defending the prison camps that house thousands of ISIS fighters and protecting the refugee camps that ISIS would like to recruit from to build up again. So the U.S. will be watching this offensive not only because of the immediate dangers, but also because of what impact it could have to the U.S. mission there in the long run.
Yep, keep an eye on that one. Yeah, and that's a nice birthplace for a whole lot of terrorists. So yeah, and they probably love to get some of those guys out of prison. See what happens. Anyhow, hey, let's get on to another part of the show. And besides, sometimes grabbing your popcorn, what you got to do is watch your wallet. And we talked last week a little bit about the tariffs, Trump talking about imposing tariff taxes on both Mexico and then Canada unless they help with the controlling the border and the flow of fentanyl back and forth. And he's also proposing a 25% tariff on everything coming out of China. Cars, I believe. Not necessarily everything, but I believe cars. But in any regards, you have some response from the Prime Minister of Canada and the President of Mexico. It's like, hey, well, we'll impose our own tariffs on products you export to us. So we'll see how all that plays out. Either way, it's going to be costing the consumer, because you can guarantee if I'm getting a part that I'm going to resell and I'm charged 25% more, I'm certainly not going to eat that cost. I'm going to pass that on to the consumer, whoever buys it. Let's keep it real. That's just economics 101. But anyhow, also in response, China has decided to ban electric exports, let's call that, going to the U.S. And what do I mean by that? Take a look at this video, and this is a good kick in the old crotch.
China has banned the export of some materials essential to the manufacturing of electronics and some military equipment to the U.S. It comes in response to Washington's chip sanctions on Beijing. CBS News Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady joins me now to help explain all of this to our audience. So, Kelly, I guess the question for a lot of people is, how reliant is the United States on these materials?
Very. Okay, so I mean, you mentioned it. This is a key input in your phones, in defense technology. And I was looking this up. So gallium and germanium, these are two of the materials that China has said we are not going to sell these to the United States anymore. We get over 50% of what we use from China. Now, we do have some of that in our earth, in the territory here in the United States, but we don't necessarily have the infrastructure to tap into that yet. So we're very reliant on it, and we're very reliant on China for this. This is kind of the tit-for-tat trade war we're seeing escalate.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, we often use terms here in this country, and perhaps they do as well in China, that paint the Chinese as our adversaries. Not straight up enemies, but adversaries. And yet, when it comes to the global trade and global economy, we're more tied in together than perhaps it may sound like when politicians pontificate at a podium.
Ooh, wow, he just spoke the truth there, didn't he? And we're very reliant on each other. And again, let's roll back to, you imposed tariffs, and the CHIP Act had something to do with that. And, that was a Biden thing where he wanted to stop being so reliant on importing microchips and produce our own here in the U.S. There's one down in around, I think, Dayton, Ohio area, something like that they're building to do, to help stabilize our need, dependency rather, upon China for those type of materials and see what happens. But again, there we go. Now your phone's going to cost a little bit more. Your TV is going to cost a little bit more. Anything that's dependent upon those type of electronics. So here we go again. Watch your wallet. Hey, another way to watch your wallet is that there's all kinds of scammers out there, and these people will think of 1,000,001 ways to get money out of your wallet. And in Atlanta, Georgia, one scammer got really quite inventive on how he decided he was going to scam you out of some money.
New tonight, if you see a parking ticket on your windshield, you may want to take a closer look at it. Police say fake parking tickets are showing up at popular spots all around Atlanta.
Atlanta News First reporter Madeline Montgomery is live tonight near Piedmont Park, where she spoke with a woman who received one of those tickets. And Madeline, luckily, she realized this was a fake.
She did because she lives here, she works here, she parks over here often. But a lot of people, like the person parked by me, is here just to visit. This car is from Texas, and police say that a lot of folks are out of towners, and so they don't even realize that these tickets are a scam.
I said that somebody gave me a ticket while I was parked legally.
This ticket showed up on almost every car parked along Piedmont Avenue by the park over the weekend.
When there's an event, they're handing them out left and right.
That was my concern. I was looking at the sign. I was wondering if it was legal or not because I was able to find this one open spot.
It's hard to find parking in town and common to get a ticket or a boot. But this ticket is a fake. And scams like this are becoming common, according to Atlanta Police and the Better Business Bureau.
People are just scanning. They don't take the time to think and say, hey, what am I putting my information to? Where is this information being housed at?
I didn't even log into the PayPal. Once it went to PayPal, I didn't even want to log.
Police say scammers put fake tickets on cars or put up fake QR codes in parking garages in popular tourist areas like Midtown, Atlantic Station, and downtown Atlanta, hoping people not familiar with the area won't catch that these are phony.
I was unaware of that. Didn't know that at all.
Police recommend double checking where you're putting in your credit card info and want to remind people that paying a ticket or making sure you're paying for parking would not be through PayPal or through a Gmail account.
My sister comes in and I'll definitely be telling her about it.
Think, people. Think it through. That's what they're trying to tell you out of that kind of stuff is, if it doesn't seem right, doesn't smell right, fact check it. Call the police and say, hey, listen, I got a parking ticket or some shit, whatever the case may be. You think you're being scammed? You may be. Make a phone call. You could save yourself a whole lot of hassle, right? Speaking of a whole lot of hassle, what happens if you lease and or sublease your home to a person and then that person decides that I'm not leaving? And this happened in Encinitas, California, where some squatters moved in, and what a luxury lifestyle they led for quite a while before I guess the woman was able to resolve this whole issue.
This $2 million house in Encinitas was nearly destroyed by squatters who signed a lease to pay rent but didn't, and instead moved in, put their motorcycle in the owner's studio, locked her out of her own house, damaged appliances, and destroyed the pool.
And I had countless nights of nightmares of how they're destroying my house, and they did.
It took 2 years and $250,000 to move them out. In fact, they took total control of her home, even renting part of it out on Craigslist.
I always felt like I was a criminal. I got locked out of my own house. I couldn't go get a change of clothes, toothbrush with the cops or anything. And they had drilled this fence shut, so I couldn't even just access my own space. I did jump over the fence at one point.
Police told her it was a civil matter, and they could not help or even escort her into her own home. The before pictures are dramatic. 2 years of disrepair, and then 1 year of full renovation, and finally, this place is ready to sell. $15,000 to resurface, repaint, and fix the plumbing. She didn't know the pump was even broken until a neighbor sent her a video recording of the noise the broken pump made.
It looked like some sort of swamp monster was going to crawl out of there. I didn't know what was going to be at the bottom.
Team 10 has been looking into the squatter issue for months. We first revealed the troubles on Dale Street in North Park, which took a fire to get police to force the owner to board up and sign papers to allow them to evict squatters. 2 weeks ago, we were alerted to this house on Cotton in San Diego, abandoned and housing squatters.
And we're paying all these tax dollars and stuff for them to help serve our city, but they're not doing anything about it.
Today, we asked the city's program manager for the Building and Land Use Enforcement Department about the difficulty in getting squatters removed. She recommends filing a complaint with the city as soon as possible and asked the landlord to obtain a letter of agency, which allows police to evict. And then, she says, be patient. An investigation will begin within 5 days, but it won't move quickly.
It'd take anywhere from, 3 months to a year, depending on what that scope is.
And as Mayor Todd Gloria told me, infringing on personal property rights is difficult.
The reason why this is often difficult is because it's private property. And in the way that you wouldn't want me rolling into your house and telling you what to do on your property.
At some point, Brandy Michelle Yandel might have welcomed authorities on her property. Her advice, do a full background check.
Full research on who you're inviting into your home, because it's like that saying with vampires. Once you invite them in, you don't know what could happen from there.
It can take years to get rid of them and thousands of dollars.
It took her over. So these squatters were living rent free for over 2 years, right? It cost her over $250,000 in legal fees. And once she got their ass out, she spent another $15,000 cleaning up the damages that they made. And they're just, I'm sure there's people that do that all the time. That's their lifestyle. Look at the setup they had. Beautiful home, pool, nice neighborhood, and wasn't paying a nickel for it. This woman was losing her butt the whole time. Unbelievable. Anyhow, hey, let's move on to one more before we down in Georgia. They're trying to do something to negate the Windfall Reduction Act. The Windfall Reduction Act, what that's all about, to clue you in, is anybody that have worked for the state and or federal governments in some capacity, school teachers, law enforcement, firefighters. They may have had a job that prior to and or in conjunction with their duties with the state and the federal government and was paying in Social Security. Well, Social Security decided that they don't necessarily have to pay out everything that they owe you. And they called that little maneuver the Windfall Reduction Act. But there's people that are trying to get something done about this. Check it out.
So they paid into Social Security, but an obscure provision of federal law prevents them from collecting most of those benefits in retirement. New at 6 Channel 2 consumer investigator Justin Gray here with us in an effort to change that, and it passed the U.S. House of Representatives this week, Justin.
Justin, we're talking about 50 to 70,000 Georgians who are impacted by this.
most of them public employees like firefighters, police officers, and teachers. Our year-long reporting on Social Security overpayments led us to notice this particular law is leaving some retirees in a tough spot.
I've worked another job the same time that I was teaching school all of my life. I've been working since I was 16.
Retired Atlanta Public Schools teacher Vidalia Turner expected to collect Social Security on those extra jobs when she retired. But that's when she learned of the windfall elimination provision, nicknamed WEP, and the government pension offset. The two provisions reduce Social Security benefits for nearly 3 million Americans, mostly public servants who received a pension from a job that didn't pay Social Security taxes.
So I'm prepared for Social Security, right? Only to find out, well, no. And I paid into it, everything into it. It's not like I didn't pay into it.
This month, in an overwhelming bipartisan vote, the House of Representatives passed the Social Security Fairness Act that would eliminate WEP.
These are firefighters who worked a second job to make ends meet, police officers who began a second career after leaving the force, teachers who took a summer job to cover the bills.
And our series of stories investigating Social Security overpayments in collaboration with KFF Health News and our Cox Media Group sister stations, we've learned that WEP can lead to overpayments and clawbacks by the federal government. People like Ron Bonasso, a retired postal worker now working 2 jobs in retirement to pay back a $7,500 overpayment tied to WEP.
A whole bunch of us have been retired all these years. It's got screwed by Social Security.
At 68, Vidalia Turner is also still working, but worries what happens when she no longer can.
What happens is that we are unduly penalized. We don't get the money that we paid into.
And so not only did this pass the House of Representatives, but it has more than 60 co-sponsors in the Senate, including Georgia Senators Ossoff and Warnock. But that doesn't mean this is automatic in the Senate, where there are concerns about the price tag that could run into the billions of dollars for that already troubled Social Security Trust Fund, Justin.
Well, this is a FYI. Yeah, I was subject to that. Yeah, I had as a state employee. And it was interesting when I had applied for my Social Security. And you look at the number that they give you, and let's say that's $3,000 a month. And all of a sudden, you know, once they do their windfall elimination numbers, you're getting like $500 a month. You're like, what the? How do I get screwed like that after all these years and years and years of paying in? And then I happen to get a state job. Now I get penalized. And I understand what these people, you have firefighters, law enforcement, teachers, it goes on and on, highway workers. It affects all of them. So, yeah, keep your eye on that. And, you know, geez, I would think that we would support that. Hope you do. Anyhow, let's move on to another part of the show that I like to call, just in case you didn't know what's going on. There was a controversial arrest made down in Georgia, in I think in the Atlanta area. But apparently a pastor got caught visiting a whack shack. If you don't know what a whack shack is, well then watch this video and learn.
A pastor at a Cumberland County church now facing charges related to paying possibly for prostitutes. We're bringing you team coverage of this after 2 separate court hearings took place today. CBS 21's TJ Anthony starts us off. Our team coverage live outside the massage business that seems to be at the center of all this. TJ, tell us about it.
Jody, that's absolutely right. In fact, the affidavit says the pastor went to this business dozens of times. The affidavit also claims that he admitted to receiving sexual acts from workers at this business, which on this piece of paper says is now closed. Mr. Milton, are the allegations true that you paid prostitutes for sex? Stephen Milton, pastor of Big Spring Presbyterian Church, left his preliminary hearing today tight-lipped. Is there anything that you want to tell the public in regards to the allegations? Pastor Milton is charged with 1 felony count of patronizing a victim of human trafficking and 1 misdemeanor count of patronizing prostitutes. Cumberland County District Attorney Sean McCormack confirmed Milton is facing charges in connection to an ongoing human trafficking investigation, revealing 2 Carlisle spas were providing sex acts to customers for pay. The charges were a shock to those in Newville, especially since they involve a pastor that's been a part of this small historic church since 2022.
I haven't heard nothing like that from a pastor.
According to the affidavit, Melton was seen leaving GL Massage with a worker listed as DM. In the document, it says DM admitted to providing sexual acts in exchange for money while she serviced customers at GL Massage, and that Melton was found to have been a customer of the business at least 68 times. During an interview, DM positively identified several customers she provided sexual acts for. That includes Pastor Melton.
People's gonna probably end up not wanting to go to the church.
The affidavit says Pastor Melton admitted to receiving a range of sexual acts from workers at GL Massage. It also says he expressed recognition the women inside the business could be victims of human trafficking, but still allegedly went into the business for the purpose of exchanging sex acts for money.
That's what happens when you visit the whack shack. Yeah, come on now. You know that's definitely human trafficking, when you go... Who wants a career like that? Okay, so yeah, it's human trafficking. Anyhow, let's get on with that. And yeah, I wonder how many people are actually going to not visit that church anymore. I'm sure they definitely aren't going to shake hands with him. But anyhow, let's move on to another one. I seen this on the news, and I thought it was fantastic. Police got their hands on one of Michigan's biggest meth dealers, and they took his ass down. And check this out.
The reign of one of the most formidable drug lords in the nation has ended. Police in Michigan announced they have finally brought down crystal meth kingpin Daryl Krogan. Brian Scott has more.
Daryl Krogan's meteoric rise from low-level Sudafed purchaser to the most powerful crystal meth baron in the country reads like a Hollywood movie, right up to the epic downfall at the end. At the time of his arrest, Krogan had amassed a personal fortune estimated at over $4,000, even before taking into account his considerable holdings in scrap metal and copper wire, making him the wealthiest meth dealer in the U.S.
Daryl Krogan's personal fortune is far beyond what any other meth dealer has been capable of amassing, and we believe that there are more soiled pillowcases full of valuables yet to be found. These are the ill-gotten spoils of a life in meth.
As head of the notorious Krogan cartel, Daryl controlled territory stretching from northern Michigan as far south as Everett. Krogan was merciless in his brute acquisition of power. He's said to have intimidated rival kingpin Gaunt Tony DeBasio by punching in the windows of the diner where DeBasio worked as a dishwasher. Those under Krogan both worshipped and feared him.
He never went anywhere without 2 blankets. He laid one on the ground, so he wouldn't have to kneel in the dirt. If you had a piece of hot dog and Daryl wanted it, he just took it.
Krogan would throw lavish weekly parties at his country estate, a barn he converted into his own private Xanadu, where he loved to show off his menagerie of feral cats and a 3-legged raccoon. But once police managed to flip one of Krogan's top lieutenants by offering him a cup of coffee, it was only a matter of time. He was apprehended in a sting by a joint Belmont-Cannonsburg police task force. The high-living drug lord was finally behind bars. For the Onion News Network, I'm Brian Scott.
Thank you, Brian. Now, authorities say it's only a matter of time before another ambitious young meth head inspired by Krogan's lavish habits of wearing socks and defecating indoors fills the void. Moving on, a popular new dating website pairs lonely singles with wines.
Okie dokie then. So, yep, they took down one of the nation's biggest drug kingpins. Anyhow, yeah, that was BS, but then I thought you might enjoy the break from the real news. Maybe that wasn't fake news. Maybe it was real news. Who the hell knows anymore? I'm confused, and I hope you are too. And since you are confused, let's bring it on to, one of the biggest controversies obviously going on and throughout the campaign, Republican, Democrat debate back and forth, has to do with firearm control, it getting out of control. And I came across another segment that I think I want to share with you people, when it comes to why are Americans buying so many damn guns.
A new study amongst the nation's gun owners has found that more Americans are now buying firearms to defend themselves against toddlers who found their guns. At Cal's gun range in Peoria, Illinois, Stephen Rosser is just one of a growing number of Americans who cite protection from armed toddlers as their primary reason for owning a firearm.
You know, I got 4 young kids running around at home. I got to protect myself from them.
Many other gun owners agreed. If a child ever gets into their nightstand or unlocked gun safe, they just want a chance to fight back.
If my 3-year-old ever picks up the gun I left on the couch, I'll be ready.
And with cases of armed toddlers on the rise, many states like Texas are taking action, just this month passing a new line in the sandbox law, making it legal to shoot any toddler in the same room as a gun. Coming up next, financial experts are sharing their secret on how to make $30 million in as little as 5 divorces. You've seen the news, now touch it with your fingers. To receive your monthly print edition of The Onion, head to membership.theonion.com today. With America's finest news.
There you go, folks. Unbelievable. Yeah. Stand your playground rule. Yeah, that was some more BS, but hey, that's what half of this show is all about, BS, because that's pretty much what goes on in Washington all the time. Hey, anyhow, I do have one that's actually, in case you didn't know, and I stumbled across this. This is kind of something you see every day, but something I didn't know. And again, I always say, keep your head on a swivel, pay attention to what's going on. And this is something I've seriously never paid any attention to.
And this blue Dawn, but I'm pretty sure quite a few of you all buy this green Dawn. But did you know there's a major difference? But let me show you something. I'm in the aisle with the dish soap. See all this dish soap? We got the green Dawn, we got all this blue Dawn and the power wash Dawn. Take a look. This blue Dawn clearly says dishwashing liquid. Now look at this green Dawn really, really close. At the top, it clearly says hand soap. Down here at the bottom, what you probably used to seeing actually has a QR code and it says dishwashing liquid. That's for the QR code so that you can go there and either purchase it or read more about the actual dishwashing liquid. But this green Dawn is hand soap. And as you can see, the top of the blue Dawn says nothing at all. So the next time you buy your soap, please read the package first. I'm Pam, and this is my POV.
And I did not know that. So in case you didn't know, also informed me. I never paid any attention to that. I'm thinking if it's in the dish soap aisle, it's freaking dish soap, right? Apparently not. Apparently not. Hey, let's move on to another part of the show, and that is a segment that we like to call What the Fuck? And sometimes you come across some real interesting things, and both of these, I got 2 of them actually this week. And one of them is a Christmas tree, believe it or not. And but this Christmas tree is special. Special, how do I mean? Special by, check this out.
This certainly isn't Charlie Brown's Christmas tree.
I'll take this little tree home and decorate it.
In fact, just the opposite. This one's made out of 2018 gold coins. The money sits in slots on the acrylic tree. And since no tree is complete without a star, of course, this one boasts an even larger gold coin. It's being called Europe's most expensive Tannenbaum. A German gold dealer named Pro Aurum and the Austrian Mint are responsible for the display, valued at 2.3 million euros, or about $2.6 million. Still, the dealer says the tree isn't as valuable as it could have been, since the value of gold dropped during the last half of the year. Workers wore white gloves to assemble it carefully and took more than an hour to put it up. The money tree will be up at Pro Aurum's Munich Gold House until December 15th. Sort of proving money does grow on trees. No need to put anything under it. The tree itself is the gift.
Right? $2.6 million in gold. That's one expensive ass Christmas trees. That's why I said, what the fuck, are you kidding me? $2.6 million. But anyhow, another one that stunned me was a piece of art is sold for an extraordinary amount of money. And you may or may not have seen some of the stuff going on, and that is the banana and duct tape artwork. And if you haven't seen the banana and duct tape artwork, check this out and look what somebody paid for it.
In other news, a banana at the grocery store costs about 30 cents. This one just sold for $6.2 million, which many believe is simply bananas. Here's Allison Hall.
They sell for millions of dollars at auction.
At $159 million.
Picassos, Rembrandts, Warhols, bananas? Say what? This so-called work of art consists entirely of a banana duct taped to a wall, and it just sold for, drum roll please, $6.2 million. If you're asking how that can possibly be true, you are not alone.
$6 million? Somebody tell me the reason.
Because you've got too much money.
Maurizio Catalan is the artist who came up with the $6.2 million banana, which is titled Comedian, perhaps the perfect name for something that lots of people think is a joke. The banana art comes with a 14-page instruction manual that serves as proof of authenticity. It shows you how to refresh the work of art by buying a new banana and new duct tape. So this work of art can last forever as long as you don't eat it.
And of course there will be people who will say, that's the most ridiculous thing. And it sounds simple, but it's a brilliant, brilliant idea.
So who made the winning $6.2 million bid? It's this guy from China who made his fortune on crypto and apparently has money to burn.
Yeah, more money to burn. Yeah, he's got absolutely no comment. $6.2 million for banana. Yeah. Duct taped to a piece of wall. Yeah, you go figure it out, folks, 'cause I sure can't. I don't get the hell whatsoever. Wow. Anyhow, hey, let's get on to another part that I know everybody super appreciates, and that is our asshole of the week. And we have two of those for you today. And one of them happened to be happened to a restaurant owner. And apparently the patrons of this particular restaurant didn't appreciate that he was speaking a language that they didn't understand. Although he was speaking Spanish in a Mexican restaurant, this woman seemed to have a huge issue with it.
I lived in California for 20 years, and English is our first language, so you need to speak English.
I'm sorry about you.
Well, I'm sorry about you too.
Why?
Get the out of my country.
Hey, see? Do you are a U.S. citizen?
No, I don't think you are.
So what? You. So now it's just because what I look. Do you see that's the problem?
No,
that's
I don't
in
have.
you. That's
I don't
in
have
your
any
mind.
problem with
that's
the way.
in your mind.
I don't have any problem with the way you look. I don't have any problem with the way you look.
I'm a U.S. citizen. What is your problem?
I don't have any
What
problem.
is your problem?
Will you shut up? I don't have any problem with the way you look.
I'm sorry.
You're in America. You need to speak English.
What I'm doing? What do you think I'm doing?
If you're racist here, you're gonna leave.
Yeah. What is
I'm not racist.
Hey, no, that's racist. This man takes care of me. You're gonna get out of here. You're gonna talk like that to him. Don't do that here.
I'm gonna pay for what you got. Okay. So can you please exit the restaurant, please? So I'm gonna pay. I'll take care of that. I take care of everything what you got. Okay. Please,
So I got raped. I got raped by illegal aliens. I got raped by illegal aliens. You can't speak English, and you want me to be nice to you?
Do you see?
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she had some real issues. Yeah, get out of my country, shut up. I got raped by illegal aliens. I doubt that very seriously, but anyhow. Yeah. Anyhow, there was one asshole, and, as promised, I have two. And sometimes when we travel out of town, we have to visit the airport, right? And they have the shuttle buses taking you from the parking lot to your terminal so that you can catch your flight. And this incident happened on a shuttle bus, an American Airlines shuttle bus that picked up passengers on its way to the terminal.
Pervez Tawfiq, an Indian American, captured the incident on camera last week. It happened on board a United Airlines shuttle bus at LAX after a family trip to Cancun. He says the woman in the video was on their flight and asked his young son about his heritage. Then Tawfiq says things escalated from there.
So we got on the bus, and within seconds of us being in the bus, our sons are talking about the planes outside, and one of them was a Spirit plane, and our little guy is 4 years old, and he loves planes. So he's like, "Oh, a Spirit plane," and she goes, "Shut up, just shut up," to our 4-year-old and our 8-year-old who were talking. That snapped me into attention pretty much.
Tawfiq, a wedding photographer, then began recording the woman who he says was intoxicated. He also says only one good Samaritan spoke up for the family during all of this. The other passengers were silent. In the video, a United employee was seen talking to the woman on the bus before she's escorted out. Fox 11 reached out to United Airlines and was told there was no additional information to share.
Yeah, I bet there was no additional information. They're embarrassed by that too, that happened. And whatever. You're not an American. Funny how, do you have to have you need to look somehow European to be an American, right? Let's keep this realistic. I would sit there and think you should more look like, a Native American. If you are truly an American, wouldn't you think? Maybe that's just me. I apply logic to that kind of crap. But in any regards, hey, I certainly appreciate you tuning on in and spending your Wednesday with us. I'll let you get on and enjoy the rest of your evening. Hope I gave you a couple of things to think about, a couple of chuckles with some of the other stuff. And, wow. It's a crazy world we live in, hey, and do your best as it spins. And until next week, hey, I am out of here, and enjoy your week, folks. Bye-bye.
Timber! When I need a break from chopping down those 4,000-year-old redwoods, I turn to lumberjack cigarettes. The pure taste of burning leaves. When you want to feel that tar going deep into your lungs, try lumberjack cigarettes.
Lumberjacks are swell and they make your clothes smell. Above and beneath they leave stains on your teeth. Pick the leaves of dead tobacco, chop 'em up for lumberjacko, rolled up tight and lit on fire. Suck 'em down till you expire, so when you get yens for those carcinogens, the lumberjacks you bought taste like cigarettes ought.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Let's find out. 1, 2, 3.
Are you serious? What the? You just bit it. You didn't even lick it. You ass.
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know.